meeting to order and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Susie, roll call, please.
Councilmember Groves.
Here.
Councilmember Chambers.
Here.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Here.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Here.
And Mayor DeVore.
Here. Consent agenda motion for tonight.
I'll make that motion.
All support. Discussion and or changes. Sue?
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
And Councilmember Chambers.
Yes. Carried. Public discussion for items not on the agenda. Yes.
Life's back.
I love it so much.
Perry Beecham, reside in Lowell, Michigan. The one question I have, and again, this is a comment, I don't expect an answer, but if the city council could update the citizens of where we are with Rec Park now that the fair is, youth fair is out at their new location, and just wanting to, is all the direction that the city's going, are the buildings coming down, memorial building, that used to be the pool, I believe there's been discrepancy who owns that. I believe it's the city, and I do know in the past the youth fair still wanted to use some things here in town, and again, I don't know if, and it was, the city had given them a one-year contract, and whether that's up or just where we are with that. Thank you.
You want to answer?
Yeah. So the plan is all of the barns will be removed, and then they will seed them. All the barns will be removed. The King building is ours. Nothing's going to happen to it. They had expressed the lease expires at the end of this year. They had expressed interest in it. But if we were going to use it for something else, then they were fine going to other options. That was the last. I had a conversation with them probably beginning of the year regarding that. But other than that, I mean, yeah, they're moving forward. I anticipate before the end of the year the barns will be down, and it'll be bare, and then we'll start looking for. I mean, I know that we're looking at trying to do some grading and maybe putting a couple extra athletic fields on the ground since it's open area. So we are looking at that as well.
And that tear down and seeding, that's on their dime, right? We're not paying for
No,
that.
that's not. Yes, that's our
It's
problem.
scheduled to start in October,
Yeah.
and then go
Yeah.
as long as weather will let it go.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Anybody else? All right, we'll go to old business number A, design for Creekside. Mike.
As we begin the restoration of Creekside Kingdom, we begin with the design process. Leathers and Associates, the firm who originally helped with the design of the original Creekside Kingdom, has provided us a proposal for the design. The total cost for the proposal is $62,060, and the project is broken into 5 pages, which were mentioned in the proposal. These funds will be paid for by the fundraising efforts led by the Lowell Rotary Club. However, with the place kept located on city property, we will hold the contract. The city attorney is reviewing a proposed letter of agreement between the city and Rotary. Leathers and Associates agreed to not bill us for the first phase until we have fundraised that amount, which is $4,400. We have agreed not to move to each phase until the fundraising is in place to cover the cost of the particular phase. If approved, the Lowell Rotary Club will begin fundraising this week. Teresa Munt and Cody Chambers are leading the fundraising efforts and will be putting together a Facebook page within the week. I recommend the Lowell City Council approve Leathers and Associates to begin design of the new Creekside City Kingdom at a cost not to exceed $62,060. The plan is to fundraise, as much as we can, but we are looking to we will be seeking grant funding through the DNR Passport Grant, and if needed, the Community Fund and LCTV.
That's an easy one. All right, any questions for Mike? Motion for Leathers and Associates?
I'll make that motion.
Support. Discussion? Sue?
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
and Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
New business number A, rubber roof replacement here.
On August 16th, I opened bids to replace the rubber flat roof at City Hall. Our original roof from the building was from, our original roof from when the building was constructed in 2003 is in need of being replaced. $45,000 was budgeted in the general fund for this task. I received bids from 3 firms. Specific materials and requirements were requested in the bid. In addition, we asked for a 10-year warranty on the material and work in the bid. We received bids from the following firms: RG Enterprises in Lowell, $38,800; Superior Springs in Lansing, $50,696, but they did provide 2 alternate bids, and then Commercial Coating Systems, Cedar Springs, $51,375. RG Enterprises is owned by Ryan Gould. Ryan has worked on our roofs in our buildings for years and has done a great job for us. He is responsive and has always been good at addressing our issues when they occur. I'm recommending for the Lowell City Council to approve RG Enterprises to replace our rubber roof at City Hall at a cost not to exceed $38,800.
Weren't they the ones that did the roofs out there at the water treatment plant?
That I don't know. I don't believe they did. They've been doing works over the chamber, so. But they do our work for this building for sure. Because I don't believe that's a rubber roof at the water plant, so. But I don't believe he does that
Well,
one.
maybe it was the
Fire station?
no, the
Chain.
Foreman building.
No, that was a different company. That was shingles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions for Mike? RG Enterprises bid?
Make a motion to approve that.
I'll support.
Discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
and Mayor DeVore.
Yes. All right, number B is a Veterans Proclamation we received. Resolution to provide for the designation of September 15, 2023 as Prisoner of War Missing in Action Recognition Day. Whereas the United States has fought in many wars, one of was the Vietnamese conflict. Whereas Friday, September 15, 2023 is a day of remembrance for those who suffered as prisoners of war or are still missing as a result of any conflict. And whereas although cooperation has increased within the past few years, there are still over 1,749 American servicemen and civilians, including 48 from the state of Michigan, missing and unaccounted for in Indochina. There is also 1 missing from the state of Michigan in the Gulf War. The uncertainty surrounding their fates has caused their families to suffer great hardship. And whereas increasing public awareness and focusing public attention on this issue is one way to help achieve this goal. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Lowell that Friday, September 15, 2023 shall be designated as Prisoner of War Missing in Action Recognition Day. We urge all of our citizens to take note of this important issue and remember those servicemen and civilians who are prisoners of war, those who are still missing, and to commemorate the day with appropriate activities. Number C, the trail easement at 500 South Hudson.
For the completion of Phase 1 of the proposed trail project, the city needs an easement across the agricultural property at 500 South Hudson Street. James and Rebecca Dine Reagan own the property. Dave Austin has been working on the city and Lara's behalf to negotiate a proposed easement with the Reagans. There is a process required by MDOT to negotiate these easements in a good faith offer within the confines of the requirements. The Reagans have agreed to the terms offered, but have added some conditions. One of the conditions is the city to take over responsibility of the operation and maintenance of existing sidewalk that border along the property in Bowes Road and Hudson Street. As you know, the city ordinance places sidewalk maintenance on the property owner. This amounts to 1,372 feet of sidewalk along Bowes Road and Hudson Street. This particular sidewalk connects people to the trail, and there will be an increase in public demand to use their sidewalk. The property is adjacent to agricultural property, and they are providing a large easement, which is a necessity for the trail. I believe the request made by the Reagans is a reasonable one. They have also requested construction restrictions during hunting season and a placement of signage that the open field north of the trail is private property and for those on the trail to remain in the designated area. I believe this request made by the Reagans is also reasonable. The total cost for the easement is $2,700 and this is acceptable to the Reagans as well. I recognize the ordinance requirements regarding sidewalk maintenance. However, I would argue the trail is an enhancement for the entire community and allowing this is for the public good as it connects directly to the trail. I believe this is a fair trade to receive the easement which is necessary. I recommend for the Lowell City Council to accept an easement agreement with James and Rebecca Reagan at 500 South Hudson for the trail as prepared. And Dave, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered it. It was in the memo.
Yep.
Yep.
Tyler Kemp, 280 Jane Allen. To start, I have no objection to the easement pursuing. I think it's important to connect up with the developments probably heading off into Ada and elsewhere in the Grand Rapids, probably all the way to the Great Lake on our side of the state. I guess maybe a question, then a comment off of that question. Do we know if this easement dictates kind of where the alignment is on the east side of Hudson, kind of at the current vacant fairground right now? Or is that not figured out currently?
Dave can probably answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this easement goes across the southern border of the property along the river and then goes under Hudson in the current underpass. And then we're proposing to bring the trail currently along the west side of the north-south gravel drive and then cross over to the east side somewhere before the entrance off of Hudson Street, a safe location, and then proceed up to Bowes Road. So we've got a tentative location for that crossing, but we'll want to review it with the city and everyone involved.
Just maybe one quick comment on that description is, I know I brought it up before, as I was still trying to figure out what that park looks like in the future. Coming back and commuting that way, that road Hudson backs up all the way up the hill, all the way to the township hall. I guess I wouldn't want to preclude any type of future improvement out there, whether, that becomes a recreational park, whatever we have out there, and just be cognizant of what that development is. So, it's my comment.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
Any other questions for Mike? Or Doc Reagan or Dave? All right, motion to accept the easement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
And Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
All right. Charlie, MERS participation update.
All right, good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm here tonight to discuss a enhancement to the Lowell Light and Power retirement benefit. Essentially what I'm asking for is request to proceed with approving a 1% match on our 457 plan. 457 plan is a qualified retirement account that operates pretty similar to a 401k, but for a government entity. And this is currently an optional retirement plan. All Lowell Light and Power employees either participate in a defined benefit, a hybrid plan, or a defined contribution plan. And then all employees have the opportunity to invest into a 457 plan as well. What this change would do was essentially match the first 1% contribution. So it's an opportunity to provide a little more flexibility in retirement benefits, give another tool in the tool belt as our employees plan for their retirement. And it also enhances our compensation package to reward the high-quality team that we currently have, and then also as an opportunity in the future to attract top talent that we've had the we've been very fortunate to really attract some high-quality staff, and this is just an opportunity to make sure we can position ourselves to continue to do that in the future. A couple of things just to note. This won't have any impact on any of the city's MERS plans. This also won't have an impact on our unfunded pension liability. As a 457 plan, we essentially fund it as we go. This also will not hinder our or alter our plan for expediting the funding of our unfunded liability. Procedurally, Light and Power does fall under the city's umbrella for all MERS-related programs, so it does take an active local governing body to approve any changes for us. So included in your packet is all the necessary paperwork to make that change, and a recommendation from the Board of Light and Power that the City Council approve the updated 457 participation agreement, the MERS 457 employer contribution addendum, and the customized definition of compensation addendum, all three of them that it take to get this change in place. So be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Questions for Charlie? Harry, anything from your board?
Nope, I mean, we've gone over the whole thing and pretty much exactly what Charlie stated enhances, gives our employees another opportunity.
It keeps you guys competitive with the rest of the industry, right?
Yeah, and that's it. We have a really great staff, and we've attracted staff from all over the country. We have journeyman linemen from Oklahoma, Ohio. I'm not native to Lowell, so I like to include myself in the conversation of our talented team. But we have had the ability to attract a really really high quality team, and the city of Lowell really wins out. I'll take the opportunity to talk about our award-winning reliability, but it's our team that makes that happen.
Motion to approve the 457 participation agreement, employee contribution addendum, and customized definition.
I will make that motion.
I'll support.
Any other questions for Charlie? Sue?
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
And Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Perry. Alternative schedule for City Hall.
Yes. Many Kent County municipalities have moved to some form of an alternative schedule for their operations, meaning their city hall and public works staffs are either working a 4 10-hour day or a 9-day, 80-hour schedule. Many communities have had, as ours, has had to reduce benefits over the years, as we have, and believe that this is an employee retention tool they can provide for their staff. I've talked to many of these communities, and they have seen no issues with level of service nor being unresponsive in emergencies. Our Friday traffic and call volume is much less than any other day of the week. There are many times where I've just considered shutting City Hall down because of this, and I haven't, but I've thought about it. I would like the city to test one of these schedules for a 6-month period. I have talked to all of our staff, and while there is a difference in whether a 410 or a 980 is preferred, they would like us to modify something with this. I've surveyed multiple communities statewide, and in my form, you will see the majority of the alternative schedules are for municipalities in Kent and Ottawa County. But you're seeing more and more communities consider this. In the last 2 weeks, I had staff compile their data, their contacts of the people that came in and the calls. And you'll look, I mean, the first Friday of this was kind of an anomaly, but I would say by lunchtime, that call volume, most of that call volume occurred before lunchtime, and it actually dropped off in the afternoon. And then if you look at last Friday, it was very low. Last Friday's count seems to be, while we haven't counted before, I can just kind of from visualization tell that our call volume, our visits on Friday, they're very low, pretty much throughout the entire year. It's not even just because it's summertime. It's a year-round thing on Fridays, from what I've seen. In the lab, so I had them compile that. So I crafted a couple of different options for us to consider if you were interested in looking at this. I compiled 3 different types of 410 schedules. The first one we'll just call it option A. City Hall could be open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. City Hall would be open 2 hours more a day than normal, and it also would allow for an unpaid 1-hour lunch for the employees, which is our current protocol. The second option, and this seems to be the most common, would be a Monday through Thursday from 7:30 to 5:30. City Hall is open 1 hour a day more than they are now. Staff would receive a 30-minute paid lunch and can stack their 2 15-minute breaks to it if they wanted to. When I talk to other communities, this is how they do it. Cedar, Wyoming, all the other communities I talked to that were in 410s, this is how they did it. The other option would be is if we did it, we could try Monday, Tuesday would be 7 to 5, Wednesday, Thursday would be 8 to 6. They would still allow the City Hall to be open an hour more a day than it is now. This allows people to come 1 hour earlier than normal and 1 hour later than normal during the week, and it would be the same protocol as before for lunch, 30-minute paid lunch break and stack 2 15-minute breaks. One thing I forgot to add is in the event we have an observed Monday holiday, unless it's actually like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, we would be open on the holiday. So like, for example, if President's Day falls on a Monday, we'd be open. If we considered Christmas observed on a Monday, like let's say Christmas fell on a Sunday, and that Monday, we'd be open that Monday.
You open the 4th of July this year then? You would have been?
No, we would be, if it was on 4th of July, we would have closed, but if it was an observed day, like if it was on a Friday, then we'd be open.
That's it.
So it does require, it does keep us open on those days. And for example, if a holiday fell on a Friday, like Good Friday, which we're off, it would just be a day off. It wouldn't be an observed holiday. We wouldn't move Thursday to honor Good Friday. We would just keep it as it is. Even that would stay. And if Christmas fell on a weekend, we would that Monday we would be open. Is what I would propose if we did that. Then there's the other option is called a 90 schedule. This is a lot more. I noticed a lot more communities kind of went to this model because I think they're in the same boat as we are in. You still have some traffic Friday mornings, but your Friday afternoon traffic is pretty much, it's almost non-existent. So we could propose 2 options there. The first one would be Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30, Friday, 8 to noon. City Hall would be open one more day. Well, City Hall will be open 1 hour more a day on the Monday through Friday, and it still would allow for a unpaid lunch, which is our current protocol, plus there would be no lunch on Fridays. City Hall is open for the same period on Monday through Thursday, but it would be only open for 4 hours on Friday, 8 to noon. The other option would be just same hours we are now, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and Friday, 8 to noon. City Hall is open as normal on Monday through Thursday, and open 4 hours on Friday. Staff would receive a 30-minute paid lunch, and they could stack their 2 15-minute breaks. I can tell you, my employees don't take breaks; they just take their lunch. So, in speaking with staff, everyone would welcome some sort of a change. If we went to a 4-10 schedule, there would be some savings on utilities if City Hall was closed on Friday, as you wouldn't have to run the HVAC in an occupied city for the entire day. However, in reviewing what other communities are doing and monitoring our volume, I think the fair option is to be open for Friday morning. In my opinion, our volume on Friday afternoons is very minimal, and I don't see why we should be open during that time. But I do see some Friday mornings having more volume. In regards to going to a 30-minute paid lunch, I see no issues with this. Our officers don't have unpaid lunch periods, and it's never been an issue. My City Hall staff doesn't take their 15-minute breaks, so stacking with their lunch isn't going to be an issue. We already have a provision in our DPW labor agreement for an alternative schedule from May until October. A few years back, they went to a 4-10 schedule, but went back to their normal schedule because City Hall wasn't on it. I told them if there was a change at City Hall, we would work on a similar alternative schedule with them during the summer months. We've allowed our police administrative clerk to work a 4-10 schedule. I also allow the police chief to work a modified 980 schedule. They've done this for a few years with no issues. If you were to consider a 4-10 schedule, I would suggest option B, and also option B for the 980. These align with what I found with other communities are doing.
Prairie Beach and Lowell, Michigan. I think it's a great idea to look at what benefits that you can provide your employees, just like we do at Light and Power, that allows, brings in, great talent and keeps that great talent, not just getting them, but keeps that. I like the idea. Me, probably wouldn't be me, but I like, there's still a lot of people that are working 8 to 5 outside the city, and so having that extra time, again, being open, I'm kind of like, be open one night a week or whatever later, so that people that do want to get here. The other thing that I think look at some kind of schedule is when your water bills are due. If they're due on a Friday, I would look at adjusting your schedule for each month when water bills were due.
Our plan would be if the water bill, because our water bills are due the 20th. If the 20th fell on a Friday, we'd make it the end of the day Monday. We wouldn't even, but that wouldn't even be an issue.
Right, well, I just think those
Yeah.
things need to be stated
Sure.
when you're doing
Sure.
that. So, as a citizen, I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Greg?
Hi, Craig Fonger, 827 North Washington Street. So I see that some of these options include being open a little bit earlier and a little bit later. I'm just wondering though, how many people actually even take advantage of that? Maybe going with the 980, with the shorter hours each day, if that would just be the best fit, the 8 to...
I would say correct me if I'm wrong, Susie, we probably most days don't start seeing our traffic till about 9:30.
Right.
And usually, honestly, we really don't see a rush at 5. It's
No.
usually 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you're going to see that rush, it is probably more towards, you're not seeing people racing here at 5 o'clock. It just, we
Right.
don't have. And honestly, since I've been here in 7, our call volume has gone way down because there's more ways to do business with the city through, online and.
So even making that gesture of earlier and later really wouldn't even be worth it.
Probably not, no. Probably not. You could probably stick the money through Thursday hours
Yeah.
as they are now and it not be an issue. I don't see, I can understand I know, like, for example, Wyoming, Cedar, Sparta, they've gone completely closed on Friday, and I know, I talked to a lot of employees, they'd love not to have a full day on Friday. But understanding that there's some Fridays that, we do have people, with running a cemetery, it's not a bad idea probably to be open on Friday morning. I don't see the harm in that. It's just really that Friday afternoon, and even then, it still is a benefit. If an employee wanted to take a half day that Friday, I wouldn't have an issue with it. We work together very well. We've never had those issues.
Right.
But yeah.
All right, this is just curious, yeah, it just makes sense to me. If you can provide fewer hours.
I know the UAW is proposing 32 hours. I'm not suggesting that. We'll still be 40 hours.
Right, okay.
You're not hearing complaints that people can't get to City Hall if they need City Hall?
I've not heard it, no. We were shut down for months during COVID.
Sure.
I never heard it.
I work a 784, which is like a real modified schedule, but I wouldn't do that schedule if it was option C, because you get, especially if you're home with kids, families, when you get, like, this is the time I wake up, this is the time I go to work, adjustments to that are tough.
Right.
I work overnight and then I try to get back into a day schedule, so saying, oh, Susie wakes up at 5:30 on Monday and Tuesday,
I agree.
she can sleep until 7 on, and I don't,
Well,
I
and I
don't,
don't think people will take advantage of
No.
that.
No, and it's not a recommended option, I
I
just put it out there,
I
yeah.
think option B, Monday through Thursday, but if you did 8 to 6 PM, that allows the people who come home from work at 5 to still come in. Nobody's gonna get up early to come see us, we're just not that important.
Right.
We're not. But I think if they don't have to rush home from work, or they have access to us once they're home and their kids are settled and dinner started, I think that provides more benefit to the residents than opening early.
And you want to do this as a
I want to
6 month?
test it for 6 months and then revisit it in 6 months.
Because I like the 980, the option B.
Yeah, I'm on that as well.
I think that puts staff here till noon. Then we're technically not closed for a full day.
That's kind of how I mean, more I think about it, that's kind of how I feel. Yeah, you don't have to run the utilities on a Friday, but I could see, I would at least start, some community, there's a community I know of, they've been on 980 since COVID, and now they're looking at, okay, a couple of years into this, well, maybe now we start visiting the 410.
Yeah.
But maybe it's, at least starting with the 980, and if we find, hey, we could probably just go to a 410, or
Right.
just keep it at this, then that's.
Do you think it's detrimental to attracting talent to, because Charlie's talking about, he's from Tennessee and Ohio and Oklahoma, whatever. There's people that live outside of Lowell that work here. Why are they gonna do an hour drive to work in the winter, to work 3.5 hours and then go home? Wouldn't it be more of a draw for people? Because you're not gonna have the same staff forever. People are eventually gonna retire. Isn't it more of a draw to say, you work 4 days a week, and you get a 3-day weekend every weekend, and you can plan vacations, and you can plan.
Me, I personally, yes, I would, but I'm also thinking of the residents.
And, yeah, but if you're giving the residents those nighttime
Right.
hours, you're giving them 4 extra hours at night, wouldn't you get more visitors from 5 to 6 Monday through Thursday than you would get 8 AM to noon on a Friday afternoon? Especially in the summer when people are leaving town and people are.
I don't know the answer to that.
I like the 410 and I like the 8 to 6 a lot, the option B, Monday through Thursday, but I wouldn't want to drive
Would you be
40 minutes to
would you
work
be
for 4
opposed
hours.
to, would you be opposed to 7:30, 5:30?
No, but I feel like more people would take advantage of 5:30 to 6 than would take advantage of 7:30 to 8.
Right, okay.
Because the last thing you want to do is come pay your water bill before you go to work all day, or
Right.
come fill out a permit.
If you're not seeing a lot of people till 9,
Yeah.
why would you open
point.
at 7:30?
So,
Susan Stevens, 610 North Jefferson. I worked for many years at Amway. It's just right there in Ada. And with traffic, it would take, if I got up from my desk at 5 o'clock and hiked out to 10 minutes out to get to my car, and then got in my car and drove straight here, it would take me half an hour from the time I left my desk. So being open at 5, if I had to come in, I had to make arrangements at work to do that.
Yeah.
By being open at 6, there's that half hour cushion that makes it easier for residents. Just a thought.
Charlie, you had something.
To your question, we have a slightly different demographic, and one of the troubles that we have as far as scheduling for attracting talent is childcare. And finding childcare till 6 o'clock, we don't have staff, we don't have anybody on staff right now, I don't think, that had childcare past 5. So we are already making some special accommodations at the end of the day. So not to throw a wrench into the discussion, but when you were asking about, what's an attracting half hour, driving an hour for a short day on a Friday, childcare is something that is dictating a lot of how we schedule and what we consider right now. And to your point, staff will turn over, and I don't know how relevant it is right now, but for us it is very relevant right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is an issue. I know of one employee who, if we did go to a 410, I would accommodate them another way.
Yeah.
But,
Personally, I think it's a safer bet to go with the 980 option B for the 6 months. If we find that Fridays are empty, nobody's coming in, people are acting like we're closed, at 6 months, we decide that we're gonna go 410s, we're closed on Fridays. I just feel like it's a safer bet to start with. I also feel like, to no offense to Lowell, it takes people a little while to transition to new things and new schedules. So I don't know how well people would react if they showed up here on Friday and it's going to be closed all of a sudden, right? No matter how many times we say it out loud that we're closed on Fridays.
kind of how
It's true.
Well, how do we,
it's tough to hit it.
Well, when I lived in Wyoming, they closed on Fridays. It took me one time to realize they are not closed on Fridays. So I would not make that. Hopefully, it's a one-time learning curve for our residents.
I'm not hoping certain.
That's optimistic. Terry?
My other question would, or not question, but comment would be, would you look at doing a different schedule from May to October, you know, in the nice weather, and a different schedule in the winter, you know?
You know, I mean, I mean, the winter, our Friday traffic's still minimal, so I mean, maybe you did a 410 in the summers and a 980 in the winters, you could do that. I don't know if I'd want to go back to the 5/8s, as I just don't see the need, even in the winter months. I mean, the winter months, Fridays,
Well,
I mean, it's, yeah.
I guess, let's say, hypothetically, I was a new employee, right? And you hired me for 410s, if that's what I was set with, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
As a single mom, I'm gonna go find a job on Fridays. So if you were gonna say, it's 410s for 6 months out of the year, but then
Agreed.
you lose your
Yeah.
Friday, I'd be like, this is not the job for me then.
I agree. I would want some sort of, I would agree with you. I would want some sort of consistency, whether you did a 410s or
Yeah.
980.
And like you said, we run a cemetery, so I would hate to have somebody come in on a Friday morning and not have staff here and have to put it off until Monday, right?
Right.
They're already going through enough. I think if we do it till the 980 option B, and if it works and we're not having any issue in 6 months, then we can go back and possibly look at that.
Which one?
Yeah, the option C,
Option C?
or B.
B.
sorry.
B.
how did the employees lean? I mean, I like the
So
idea of 410.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But
I think
Who cares?
I think most of my employees would like a 410.
Okay.
Some, but when I explain to them the 980, they understand it and they're fine with it. I mean, there's some that I would think will probably more preferential to the 980 because of childcare.
Yeah.
There's one for certain that is definitely childcare. There's one who, her biggest issue is she lives out in the country and she just wants to be able to get out of the driveway in the winter months. And so for her biggest concern is just being able to get out. But we've kind of worked on it internally with her that if something happens, she's been doing this for many, many, many years.
Is it worth her getting out of the driveway?
There's
coming
days
here
that,
for 3 or 4 hours?
no, there's days that she probably just wouldn't.
But then we're gonna make her use her personal time for that, for something that's completely beyond her control?
I probably would work with them, yes. But yeah.
Do you have a sexton now?
Yes.
I mean, can it be where the sexton is on call?
That's what we would, yeah.
And
Because
then
the only
you don't
time,
have to
yeah.
worry about Fridays?
Well, yeah, it would be if there was a Friday burial. But I mean, the other thing too is that you do have people who do come in the mornings that, they do come and pick plots out. I mean, that does happen.
What if on Fridays we just post your home phone number and then if anybody has any?
We post his address too?
Yeah, we can do
Okay,
that too.
I'm all for that one.
I would be, if it was me and I worked 4 12s one week and then 3 12s the next, if somebody said come in for a half a day, I do feel like
Sure.
I would go to another company that offered me,
Sure.
and we've lost people to other companies that offer them 2 24s a week. So there's always gonna be, I'm not saying go to 2, I'm not saying have 20, I'm not saying anybody's gonna come pay their water bill at 3 AM. I'm saying, to me personally, 410s and being open an hour later for the residents would be more attractive than coming in a half
Should
day.
we take a poll of the actual people who work here? And
Well, I pretty much have, I can tell you who wants what.
It was a few years ago, we had the same discussion.
Yep.
There was a lot of feedback that we want to have it open 5 days a week. Can't remember everybody that came up and spoke, but.
Yeah, but I feel like since COVID, we've come up with other
We changed
options.
some
Yeah,
of
And
it.
we've kind of
Yes.
proven the model that if you want something done, oh, now we've done it.
Rural Garden, 215 West Main Street. So I work in a different environment. I'm a pharmacist, and we don't all work the same hours. Is it possible that the people with kids work a certain shift and maybe they only work every other Friday? Or, I mean, does everybody have to work the same shift?
The biggest thing is I always want to have 2 people in the building, so we only have, in the office, we only have 5 people full-time in the office, so I hate, and I always make sure there's 2
Yeah, no, that makes
for
sense.
safety reasons, so I don't like leaving one person by
No,
themselves
absolutely.
in an open building, so our biggest issue is obviously security and making sure that, but put it this way, if we were closed on Friday and they needed to come in and we needed to moderate their schedule, I would do that where they're by themselves and the building's secure and locked and nobody can get in. That we could probably
Just about.
Well,
Thanks.
We do have a city employee sitting here.
I know what she wants.
If you, this is a really simple way. If you went tomorrow morning and polled every single one of your employees, would the prevalent option be the 980 or the 410s?
The 410.
then why would we want to experiment with the one?
My concern was for Friday coverage, but I would say all the employees would be fine with a 410 except for 2, they would probably prefer 980.
But, okay, so let's experiment with that. If there's 2 that want to work in 980, can they be the 2 that are working on Fridays?
Tell the Friday they want to take the Friday off.
Then they have to find somebody to fill their position for the day.
Just knowing this community, I still think that the 980, the till noon on Friday is, if we don't get much flack, it's 6 months, right?
Right.
And if it works out to where nobody seems to have an issue, then we can go ahead and come back in 6 months and then look at the option B for the 410. Because I work 414s, so
If you keep all your tires, it's only 14 hours.
yes, sometimes I don't make it home until Sunday.
Here.
So, last time, hopefully.
Don't say that, don't make promises.
Your city manager, Mike, is looking to do a experiment or a trial. I think that the council, I think it's Mike's decision. He runs City Hall in the city. I think it's great to get your input, but I think it's a decision that Mike should make and we move on. So,
I don't like your attitude.
Good point, Barry. I would say the experiment to do then would be the 410. And then depending on how much complaint we get about Friday not being served, then make judgment from there.
I say we go to December 31st, 4 months trial. I don't think it would be 6. We'll know by then. I think you'll know within 3 months whether or not it's working.
And I would start
And then
this.
you'll come back.
I would start this October 1st. I would start this the
Okay,
week of
gotcha.
October
So
1st when I
last
started.
quarter, Q4 of
Yeah.
2023.
So you want to change it to a 4-month trial?
Or 3 months. If you
3
start
months,
in October,
through the
we
new
should
year?
know by the end of the year.
We're gonna know
how
within
it's
the
working.
first 2
2
weeks.
weeks.
You're gonna know on the community chatter and then.
And Perry.
They'll help disseminate the truth.
If they agree.
No.
It's all about the truth out there. isn't it?
If they agree with the truth, yeah. All right, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna leave that to Mike.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
I say,
Pressure's on. Don't
I
mess this up.
say we go to the 410s and let me work out the issues with those other employees who tried start from October 1st for 3 months, see how it goes. And
Is there more value in the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the
I
last hour?
I still prefer the 7:30 to 5:30, but that would be me. 'Cause I don't think,
I think having quiet hours to get some work done in the morning
Right.
before you expect foot traffic.
because like I said, your call volume is mostly from 9 to 4. And I don't see that changing, so 2 hours, 5:30 seems to me seems reasonable.
It'll speed up the commute to and from a little bit too, being outside
Right.
of those rush hour
Right.
traffic hours, so there's some value to
And
it.
obviously, if it's a winter storm or something, we'll do what we continue to do. I'll probably send employees home early like we've done in the past. I'm not,
You gotta stay open.
I did when I was in Costa.
So,
I guess you just picked what we're gonna go do then, huh?
option B, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30, is that what you want?
Yes,
And your employees will be happy with that?
I believe so.
And if it goes south, we can blame you personally?
Absolutely.
Since Sue's the only one here, you can be happy with that, Sue?
I think it sounds great.
Didn't know she-
Motion carried.
Alright, so that the motion would be, I'll make the motion. Motion for me would be to go to a 410 schedule, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. till January 1st, 2024, and then reevaluate.
Correct. We'll keep it open until we reevaluate. We'll keep it on that schedule until we reevaluate.
Starting October 1st.
Correct.
Okay.
Or let me get the
What
correct
day is
date.
that? Yes.
Let me get the correct date.
The first Monday in October.
Or hang on.
That isn't followed by Tuesday.
I believe it's,
There's a calendar.
I'm trying to get to it.
October 1st is a Sunday.
So October 2nd.
Yeah, October 2nd schedule.
Perfect. All right, I'll amend my motion then to October 2nd. The rest of the motion.
I'll amend my support of that motion.
Noted. Any other discussion?
I won't.
All right.
I think
Sue?
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic,
Yes.
and Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
All right, carried. Last one, Hillside Court. Acting DPW Director Burrows.
2 years ago, we laid down asphalt to address the top portion of Hillside Court. We basically did the northern part of the street and the cul-de-sacs. We did not at the time complete the apron of the cul-de-sac because we didn't see it as a need. Since then, the apron of the cul-de-sac, which is in the public street plat, has eroded. The city has been asked to address this and believe the best solution is to lay asphalt in the apron, shape it to avoid the erosion. Our staff can grade this to avoid the erosion. However, asphalt, in talking with my staff, is the best solution. Michigan Paving, the contractor overseeing the Grindle and Shepherd project, has been asked to quote this work since they'll be in the area in the next few weeks. They gave us a quote of $9,691.50 to address this. This can be paid for by the local street fund. I recommend the Lowell City Council approve for Michigan Paving to address the apron on Hillside Court at a cost not to exceed $9,691.50. So basically, there were some houses that were built after we did it that's kind of causing the issue, and Jeff's looked at it, Dan's looked at it. Everyone's solution is that